So a lot of you might have seen a recent video by Vegetable Police called Keto Eyes. Now when I saw this, I thought it was quite funny because of all the videos already out there about vegan eyes, and these are obviously two different types of things that are happening, but I wanted to firstly do a bit of a response to Vegetable Police's video and give my thoughts and theories as to why these people have these types of eyes and which is the worst. All right, let's get started.
I see. I notice it myself. People on ketogenic diets long term seem to develop I call them keto eyes because it's so common in that community. There's something to it. There's got to be a connection, a correlation, causation, if you will. Now look,
Causation.
I'm not saying that every single person on a ketogenic diet's going to get this. You can get it on non-keto diets. We'll talk a bit about what I think it is from what I've researched. Why'd I do that? So first, let me just show you an example. This is Dr. Ron Rosedale. He's one of the early founders of a ketogenic diet.
I don't know who this guy is, and but he looks fairly average, like depending on his age. He doesn't look great, but as far as if he's, say, 70, then he's probably not too bad for that age. Just quickly, my opinion on the keto diet in general, I think long-term keto is not the optimal for health, unless you have some sort of problem that you want to sort out, such as losing weight. That's a good way to lose weight. And if you had diabetes or cancer, that would be the diet I would recommend. Other than that, if you are in good health, I think going keto is not necessary. I think you need some carbohydrate, especially if you're doing exercise and lifting weights, which you should be because that's part of being healthy. So I don't think it's optimal at all. But yeah, let's keep continuing.
He believes in it for longevity and health. He thinks it's the best diet possible for health. I disagree, but it could be.
I disagree with full-blown keto, like I said, unless you're trying to cure some problem you have.
And you see his eyes. You see the puffiness under his eyes. So this is what keto eyes is. It's these drooping bags. Sometimes they get dark blood, that black blood. That's dangerous.
Black blood, I think Casey's been watching too much of that TV show called The 100.
What I've researched, it comes down to a couple different factors. One is kidney weakness. You're not filtering toxins out of your blood, then your blood gets dirty. That's the second factor, dirty blood.
I don't agree with that. Kidneys can, bad blood and kidneys that aren't functioning properly isn't necessarily the cause of this. My opinion on people having bags under their eyes, it's interesting. It may be a trend with certain keto people, and I'll cover why I think that could be the case. But most likely it's going to be adrenal fatigue. That's associated with stress, perhaps drinking too much coffee, lack of sleep is a big one, looking at computer screens very late. All of these things can be contributing factors. Now, the other big one can be fluid retention. People that are not getting adequate sodium, people that are getting too much sodium and not adequate potassium and magnesium, especially the potassium, they're not balancing that sodium properly, so they can tend to hold fluid, and one of the areas this can happen is under the eyes. I think some people doing keto diets are not including fruit in their diet, so the lack of fruit and any plants at all may mean they're getting too much sodium, especially if they're salting their foods a lot and they're not balancing that out. It's another reason I go back to my philosophy of not being too strict on a diet. If you're getting cravings for a certain thing, your body probably needs that. So that could be one of the reasons why keto people in the long term are getting these issues. And I haven't looked at a lot of keto people. This may be just a very small minority, but it is an interesting thing to think about. I think also people that are on a strict keto diet may be having a lack of energy, because I do think it's optimal to have some carbohydrate, and that lack of energy can lead people to going to things like coffee and to get this fake energy out of it. So that's my thoughts. Let's keep going.
I just learned about that from Medical Medium. That's why it's dark. That's why you get the darkness. See this? See that? That's dark sacs of dirty blood that you can get from a diet that just lacks any cleansing properties. No fruits and vegetables. Just carnivore diet all the way.
I wouldn't say they're cleansing properties. I would just say including some fruits is going to make sure you get adequate nutrients from both sides. I think a diet should consist of mostly animal foods, but a lot of people that are cooking their foods on an animal-based diet, they may just be totally missing things like vitamin C and, again, that potassium.
She's been carny for like 20 years, and she's just showing it. And yes, that's a terrible photo. I understand. The
Yeah,
lighting's
it's bad
not great,
lighting.
but watch any of her videos and any picture online.
These look a bit like veganized to me. They're getting a bit of a sunken in appearance. I wonder how old she is in this photo. I've seen her in other videos, but I forget what her name is or how old she is. But
You can see it in any good lighting. So I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make fun. I'm trying to avoid it myself, and I was developing it. It's tough to see because when you're facing like this, they're invisible. If you face down, they start to reveal themselves. Although mine are almost gone. If you do a comparison of me
well, how long ago was this? This is interesting. He has got rid of these circles under his eyes.
side by side, I'll do a freeze frame. You can see that just 3 weeks into a
Okay, 3 weeks. So it's interesting. I mean, he may have just had bad sleep on this day, but if he's pure carnivore, I can't remember how pure he was in the carnivore diet, but if he was 100% carnivore cooked foods with nothing else, then he may well be, lacking certain nutrients that I was talking about, the potassium. He may be having too much sodium. He may be lacking other factors. It may just be sleep. It may just be a bad day for him, but it is interesting to see this.
vegan diet, I've pretty much reduced it dramatically. So we've gotten rid of it. That's my pressure cooker. Potatoes. Couple nights in a row of bad sleep, and then you get these dark circles like what happened to me.
Yeah, so he's talking about other factors like lack of sleep. I mean, it's not necessarily the keto diet. It is an interesting trend that he's showing with these people in particular that may be coincidental, but yeah, it may be related to the whole coffee or the lack of potassium. It could be correlated, but again, these people may just be parents that are stressed out. They may have busy jobs. They may be drinking coffee. But yeah, there's that factor of having low carbohydrate that may lead them to drinking coffee. Now, I can't confirm these people are all coffee drinkers, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
The fourth factor, which could also be a couple factors linked together, is your liver. Once that bad boy gets clogged up, it has a tough time doing anything for you. And your spleen as well cleans the blood. So it could
If your liver's clogged up, you're going to have other issues showing themselves, such as bad skin, breakouts in the skin, little pimples on the skin. Those are things that can show if you are having the kidney problems and the liver problems. So if people have clear skin or pretty good skin and they have these bags under their eyes, it's probably not anything to do with the liver or kidney.
be spleen, liver, kidneys, adrenals, and dirty blood. All your weak organs creating dirty blood, you got keto eyes. So I've shown this picture before. This is Amber O'Hearn, 20 years carnivore, and her paleomedicina friend who runs the keto clinic in Hungary, and she heals a bunch of people. Definitely has the keto eyes. He's a little pudgy around all areas. Mark Sisson, he's got him. Got the puffed.
Mark Sisson, here's an interesting one. He is not a carnivore. He's promotes a low carb diet, but basically the paleo diet. Now he has a range of foods in his diet. He obviously focuses on high quality animal foods, and he does not avoid vegetables and fruits like carnivores do. Now, I think he looks good for his age. He's in his 60s. I'm not exactly sure how old, maybe 65. I think he looks good for his age. He has sun damage. He obviously spends a lot of time in the sun, but he doesn't have any darkness around his eyes. And to me, those lines around his eyes, yeah, it looks like he might have had puffy eyes in the past. He's kind of got a bit of a wrinkle happening there, but I wouldn't consider him to have puffy eyes. They look fairly flat. There's just a lines from aging there and normal normal aging. So I think he looks healthy for his age.
They're not so dark, so he seems to have maybe adrenal weakness without too much dirty blood. Way to go. He eats a big salad every day. That could be why. And I know what you may be thinking. A lot of these guys are old. It's just age. I get them. Gary Taubes, he's in the 60s.
Who's this guy? He's got the keto eyes and the vegan eyes. What's going on here? Is he a keto vegan?
He's got the darkness, the dark eyes, the dark soul.
He's lacking something, this
Man
guy.
right there. So yes, absolutely. As you age, your kidneys kind of deteriorate unless you're super on point. Like some vegans. Oh.
What's with the la-di-da lovey music, vegetable police? This guy, yeah, you can tell he's a vegan as soon as it comes up. He's very, very skinny, and he's got the well-known vegan eyes. Just because he doesn't have these bags under his eyes, which Casey is pointing out in other videos, other people, it doesn't mean he's healthy. These sunken-in eyes are just what your instincts tell you. He is lacking something. He's consuming his own nutrients, and something is deteriorating there. It is interesting though that if somebody has no bags at all, if he's old and he has no bags, it may well be certain other factors. Perhaps he gets really good sleep. Perhaps he doesn't have children and doesn't have these factors that cause these bags. Perhaps he's getting a good balance of sodium and potassium in his diet. These things can stop these bags happening. And maybe he never drank coffee. I'd like to find out if he ever did any of these things. But he's clearly deficient with these eyes going in. So I would say this is not a picture of health because of that reason.
Goodness. Lauren Lockman? How old's he? 60? 50? Something? He's probably pushing 60. He doesn't have them. He's got no keto eyes. He eats like 1,200 calories of fruits and veggies. That's all he does. If you eat a high protein vegan diet, you can still get it. Protein is protein. Animal protein's worse for some hippie reasons. It's worse. But you eat a lot of processed foods that can overburden your kidneys if your diet.
All right, so he's got some weird theories about what's going on. Casey's a really funny guy, and he's more of a comedian than a nutritionist. But I think he does have one valid point: is that the people that are looking better are the ones that tend to have a less strict diet. So Mark Sisson, for example, he's not strict on his diet. He eats generally healthy, but he doesn't eat strict carnivore or obviously not vegan. And he's one of the better looking ones. So I think there's something to take away from this, is that, having that balance, and I talk about this in one of my videos, of having that balance and not being overly strict is a really important factor. Being too strict on one thing is just going to make you deficient in certain things. You're going to be lacking things because you're, denying what your body really wants if you are craving something. I want to have a look at some of these vegan eye videos. These will be a bit of fun, and in comparison to the keto eyes. I want to shout out to Carnival, and thanks for posting one of my videos.
Do you see it? Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Pointed this out in the past when it comes to someone like Joey Carbstrong.
Look at the look in their eyes. There's this kind of psychopathic look in their eyes.
Or Earthling Ed and...
Earthling Ed, I mean, he's just got this vacant stare, this soulless stare. And I don't say that to be mean or anything. It's just something you notice with a lot of vegans. I think us as humans, we're really good at judging character from looking at people, and not to be judgmental, in a bad way, but I think we're really good at spotting somebody that's kind and somebody that is a genuine, sincere person with good intentions. Now, people like these vegans that are very, very militant on their diet, and they look like they're just set out to convert you, like the way some really crazy religious person would be. And just by looking at them, you can sense this. And I think there's a reason we can sense that as humans naturally have this ability to spot people that have a good heart and good intentions, so to speak. Let's see what else Carnival has to
You know,
say.
a lot of other vegans. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I know you see it. Something about that vegan stare, those wide open eyes.
Yeah, it's true. So the vegan eyes are these sunken in type of eyes. I'm sure you guys have seen tons of videos on them by Vegan Deterioration, her channel, which is really cool, by the way. And this is obviously caused by lack of animal nutrients. They're not obtained in the diet, so they tend to just come out from the body. Now, the vegan eyes is because of muscle atrophy around the eyes. So you've got muscles all around your eyes that control them moving around. And when you're not getting sufficient nutrients in your diet, you obviously lose muscle on your body. And one of the places you lose these is in your eyes and the cheek muscles as well. That's why so many vegans have got these sunken in cheeks. And it's not from just losing body fat, it's the muscles themselves. And my theory is, and I'm serious about this as well, is that there's brain atrophy happening. I think the body is taking the DHA from the brain, and the brain is shrinking quite literally because you're just not getting these DHA, the omega-3 nutrients from the diet. So the brain has got a lot of omega-3s in it, so it's going to be taking them from there. And I think this, along with the eye muscle atrophy, is the reason these eyes sink in. And they sink into a certain point where they can't sink in anymore because of the skull. So you end up with this skin going around the eyeball, and hence the bug eyes type of appearance.
And I hate to say it because Drew is a really good guy, and I don't know, I guess I just kind of feel guilty. But man, I went to his channel and I had this eureka moment, and I just had to speak on this. I mean, look at his goddamn eye!
I think this guy stopped being vegan. Yeah. So here's the after when he started eating animal foods, I believe.
Good goddamn look at the before, because this is the after.
That's amazing. Like, how long is this? Has he gone back to eating animal foods? This is the after, he said. So, it can be reversed, and this is a really good testimonial to what animal foods do to your appearance. And he looks far healthier, obviously. Nobody can deny that. That's amazing. So, to sum this up, the keto eyes and the vegan eyes are two different things. Vegan eyes are lack of nutrients, and the keto eyes it could be from many factors. And I want to reiterate on my idea of not being too strict on diet, and there's a reason you're getting cravings for either carbohydrate or perhaps fruits or something like that. And follow those cravings. Don't be 100%, and obviously avoid stress, coffee, get good sleep. These are all really important. And don't drink alcohol. That's not going to help anything. So that's my take on the situation. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys really soon. I've got another video coming out very, very shortly.